Aaron here with Talkin Geek with Get Your Geek On, and back for season 2. I'm alone. Robert left me. He's gone. He left. He's not on this camera at all. You don't see him with other people. It's just me. So welcome guys to Talkin Geek, episode 1, season 2, the geekiest talk show in the verse. It's Aaron here again, and again we have the incredible Robert over here.
I tried to get out of my contract, but he wouldn't let me. So
no,
I'm back.
He signed with blood. So we are here, as you can see, there's a couple of guests in the audience with us right now, or in the studio, I should say. We'll get to that in a second. Kyle's also here. You saw him last season, a couple episodes now. So we got a lot to talk about, though. It's been a good couple weeks. Nice little break for us.
Yeah.
Robert,
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Welcome to 2020. Does everyone have 2020 vision now? Is that? No.
Did everyone get some good glasses?
We got dad jokes.
Okay.
I still got them.
Those will never go away. So on today's show, we do have special guests in the audience, or in the studio here. We also have some Star Wars news. Mandalorian finished.
Yep.
We're off.
Mm-hmm.
New Mutants trailer was released. WandaVision, some info. Oddly enough, though, Christian Bale. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that, too.
Deadpool, Witcher, and a lot more. So we want to open up and get started with our guest here in the studio, Mr. Angel himself.
Mr. Welcome. Angel himself. And how do you pronounce your last name? Because
I didn't want to touch it.
see, most people actually mispronounce it. I've heard Delacroix, Delacroix.
I was gonna say Delacroix.
Yeah, it's Delacroix.
Delacroix.
But I've even heard Dirty Crotch. It's like, what the? How do you get Dirty Crotch from Delacroix? Okay, we'll go with that.
Sometimes you just read things. So
yeah,
welcome to Talkin Geek. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. I mean, I've been planning to come out here. Robert, really cool guy. If you guys haven't been out to the show, you should come out here. Check out AA Ron. That is your name from now on.
Thanks, Kate Peel. Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. I told him I was gonna do that, and he was like, "No, don't."
Once they release that, it's never going to change.
Yeah.
You will always be AA Ron.
Yeah. AA Ron.
So now, and officially, everybody else knows to call you AA Ron.
They better. If not, go see the King Peel shit.
Yeah.
And, So we got a couple questions for you, man, because we know you've been here in San Antonio. You own Hebe Studios, right?
Yeah.
So what is it?
We are an independent video gaming studio located right here in San Antonio. Started up in 2013, actually, but we launched our first official title in 2017.
Oh, nice.
We're launching our next title actually within a month. And, doing tons of things. Whatever you guys want to know. I can sit here and talk hours about my company, but I know I'm not here for that.
Yeah, we'll get through some things. First off, it's a really interesting name. So how'd you come up with that? Where does that come from?
Well, when I first started my company, it was myself and my best friend.
Okay.
I'm an artist. I worked for AAA companies, Riot Games, Blizzard, Treyarch, Capcom. And one day I just said, you know what, I'm tired of working for somebody else. I can do this on my own. And my best friend, programmer, I'm an artist, so I'm like, we can do it. And we were both like big Naruto fans. Okay. Like still are. So, and I'm a Sasuke fan. So I'm like, all right, how about Taka? Taka Studios, Eagle. And we looked it up. There was already a Taka Studios. And we're like, oh, we can't use that. All right, Heavy Studios. And we're like, yeah.
So second choice.
Yeah, second choice, but still a good choice.
Yeah, it works.
Let's see. In 2014, he was killed by a drunk driver.
Oh,
man.
And tons of people have said, change your name, and in memory of him, I'm not going to change it no matter what.
Keep it alive. That's awesome.
So
very cool.
And that's how that's how we came up with the name Heavy Studios, and that's why it's never changing.
I like it.
I like it too. So you said you worked for other companies and all, so you just finally tired of it, and that's what made you want to do your own studio at this point, or?
Well, one of the things about working for AAA companies, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of massive layoffs and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
They may say, okay, we have this project coming up, and we're going to start it. It's going to be big, and either funding runs out or the market, they do their marketing thing, and they're like, we don't want to do it anymore, so we got to cut back on, people and stuff like that. So having that fear of, okay, am I going to go to work tomorrow and the whole company shut down, or is my division cut, or whatever.
Have you ever worked on a game that ended up dying, like never seen release?
Tons.
So many.
So many. It's like I think if everybody held up their hands and all their fingers, it's like we still wouldn't have enough.
Oh wow, that's a lot that didn't get published.
One of the good things about having your own company being indie is because you can do whatever you want to do. People don't tell you, hey, you're going to do this. It's like, no, mine. And with my team, I even let them have creative input. You know, like if they say, oh, it'd be cool if we threw this in there. It's like, all right, do it. Let's see how it looks. Just so when you work for a AAA company, you'll never be known or anything like that. Like when you see the credits roll, they scroll real fast and you got to catch your name like real quick and everything.
Pause frame by frame.
Yeah,
Yeah, unless you're the director, nobody knows who you are in the game industry.
Yeah,
and only if you quit. What is it? Kojima left.
Yeah, Kojima or who was the guy who did Mega Man?
Inafune? What's the right name?
He also did Mighty Number 9.
I think.
That abomination.
Yeah, that game was.
But at least I try to put out quality games versus hey, let me take everybody's money and run because nobody's heard from them since.
Yeah. So what's obviously you've been around for a few years now. You said your first game came out in 2017. Is that?
That was our first game. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your biggest game that you guys have put out so far? What's the best selling one?
Right now it's Rage Ball. We have another title before that one. It's more of a obscure, like only a few people know about that one. Which had a very limited run, but people are still clamoring for a part 2, and it's like, that's not coming. It is not happening. They're like, do a remake. Oh no, it was one of those games that was a joke game.
Yeah.
So not gonna put the effort into a sequel because you never put much effort into the original.
Yeah, because one of the things in the indie world is there's a saying, everybody comes up with a crap game, and I said, okay, let me make a game where you're playing as a piece of poo, rolling around in the sewers, collecting money. And everyone's just like, oh my god, we love the concept. I'm like, no, that was a joke game.
Sounds fun to me.
Yeah. I mean, I still have a copy. I just don't bring it out that much. I do conventions and people are like, yeah, where's Oop Boy? It's like, oh no.
Yeah. So is Rage Ball, is that the one that you had out there at Umicon?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So I had a chance to play that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And our next title, Slime Time. You played that one. A lot of people love that one.
I was not good at it.
Oh.
I'm really
not like the sword fighting.
I was better at the sword fighting than I was with Angel's Game.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Now we did have fun at Umicon sword fighting.
We did. Yeah, this is the man that if you watch that video of me sword fighting, this is the man that like got me under the shoulder immediately, and then Kristen just stopped taking video, and I was like, we fought like 8 more times, and I killed him a few times too. No,
guys,
not on video.
No, those guys, they're actually really nice guys.
Yeah, we had them on last month.
Okay.
Yeah, they were on our show. So.
Yeah, and every convention we're at, they're like family. That's one of the things, the Mama heaviest family.
Yeah.
And, if I consider you family, it's like, I don't care if you're African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, you're family. I don't see race, creed, or color, and that's another thing. I want everybody to feel like they have a safe place to come to. They're not discriminated against.
I mean, that's what we're passionate about at Get Your Geek On is we want to create a place where everyone is welcome. Whether you're geeky about one thing or you're geeky about everything, come here, geek out with us, and have fun.
Unless you're a Superman fan and you hate Batman.
I did tell you to leave when you told me.
Well, I mean, I give Batman his due in certain aspects, but Superman could. If he lost his morals,
we're gonna spend way too much time.
We're gonna go to the next question.
So tune in for season 18 when we have that hour-long debate about Batman.
It'll be a special video.
Yeah,
I think Aaron and I already have like a special video planned where I'm gonna have to tell him that Batman's better than Spider-Man. So.
But Spider-Man's always gonna win.
Hey,
anyway,
we're gonna have a 3-way and I'm just gonna go. So and Superman blows everybody up.
Pretty much. So I know you said you have your Rage Ball and all that. Well, how many games do you have in the pipeline right now? Is it just the one coming out? Do you have any other ones planned coming?
We have another one called The Lost Ones. It's a virtual reality survival horror game coming out for the Oculus Rift and HTC Vive.
I like that idea.
Yes.
Is that like multiplayer or is it single player?
Single player.
Okay.
We're going for because our first 2 games are really family friendly.
Yeah.
And I told my team, hey, let's go on the other end of the spectrum. I want to make a game that's so horrifying, so horrible, where I want to give somebody a heart attack. They're like,
nice.
And so far, we have people, screaming and running, trying to run with the Oculus. It's like, what the? They're like, oh my God, that's so scary. And,
cool.
But that one's a lot longer, or it's coming out a lot longer because it's such a large game.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more ambitious than some of your previous titles.
Yeah. Excuse me. We have a lot of the framework done. It's just putting everything together, doing more world building and everything like that. Yeah. Then once we find out new things, it's like, oh, what if we did this? Again, I give everybody creative input.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I know PAX South is coming up in a couple weeks here, so you're gonna be there, right?
Yeah, it's coming up in 9 days. I forgot how many hours.
I was told there would be no math.
Nope, no
we've
math.
established that on Talkin Geek before. No math on this show.
Okay, no math. Okay,
Can't give any math.
It's coming up next weekend.
There you go.
That's in his contract too. I can't do math.
Yeah, the contract I tried to get out of.
Yep, but you'll get out of it.
So you're gonna have a booth there and everything, right? Like,
yeah.
You're gonna have games people can
people can play.
We're also gonna ball and
we're also gonna be doing some other promotions. We do a lot of work with the city, so we're gonna be as well as different charity organizations like St. Jude's and St. Baldrick's.
Oh, cool.
Some more or less, promoting them as well.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, I think, man. Having everybody out there and showing off your games. So last one before we kind of end this, and you're a big gamer, obviously. You make video games, obviously. So out of the years of gaming you probably played, what's your favorite game?
Final Fantasy VII.
Everyone's go-to.
That was quick. He knew it.
See, that's always been my favorite game, man.
I gotta ask, how old were you when you played it?
I was actually.
He remembers buying the copy brand new.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually 40, so I was in the Marine Corps. I bought it, played it for like a week straight, and I fell in love with Sephiroth. He's my favorite villain. No matter what. I remember when Final Fantasy Advent Children came out, I squealed like a girl when he came out. I was like,
so was it like one of your first RPGs then?
Yeah.
They got you into the genre?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, after that I picked up other RPGs, but they just haven't had that same love for me.
You never forget your first.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about covers it.
Well,
so
since you're here, what is your favorite game?
Oh,
it's kind of easy. Halo.
Halo.
I mean,
Really? You're an FPS?
ODST.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up on Halo when I first really got hardcore into gaming.
Okay.
I played a lot of Mario and stuff on the Super Nintendo. That was my first console, but I just fell in love with the character. I fell in love with the background story pretty much when Halo 2 hit.
Okay.
That's when I was like, I loved Halo 1, but Halo 2 sold me once I saw the ODST and how they were, and I loved that quote "keep first in hell."
Okay.
So that's always been my go-to. So yeah.
You can ask me.
You can't ask Robert.
I'm not a gamer, so
I'm
yeah.
going around.
I mean, actually, so I don't play a lot of video games, but one that I really enjoyed that came out a few years ago and actually got re-released, and I bought it again, so they got my money twice. Was L.A. Noire.
Okay.
I really liked that game.
Oh, that was a good one.
I enjoyed the storyline mode, and it was very cinematic and that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed that. I don't play a lot of games, so that's probably everyone's going, "What's the matter with you? That game sucks." I don't know.
Since you
I
brought
enjoyed it.
L.A. Noire, I want to bring up a funny moment that happened to me when I played that game. So I had already been frustrated dying several times on this chase scene.
Yes.
And I finally get out, and I've got the guns up, ready to complete the mission. And then one of the other cars runs me over, and I fail. I was so mad. I had to put the game down for a week.
Wow. Yeah, there were definitely some side missions, especially that were super challenging. And I remember one of the final missions, you're chasing some guy through the sewer, and I lost him so many times. It's like a labyrinth.
Right, yeah,
where am I supposed to go? I have
it's
no
a weird
idea.
climax there.
Yeah, but it was a good game.
Now, what is your favorite game?
That's a pretty simple one there. Super Smash Brothers Melee, because that was my first competitive game. It's made a huge impact in my life. That's why I'm part of the fighting game community.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely got to talk to you. It's like, yay.
Well,
Cool.
we do appreciate having you on, man. It's nice meeting you guys. Get to know more about the gaming culture here too in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
the gaming culture, I know it's totally off topic.
Yeah.
It is here in San Antonio. A lot of people don't know that there's one. You have the IGDA. Myself and Rick Stem, we started it up. Since I do so much work with my company and other things, I had to step back, but it's still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
You also have the Greater Gaming Society. There are so many programs, for people who want to learn or are developing video games.
There's also
That's
Fred
awesome.
Wood, Trunks.
Yeah.
You probably know him.
Like,
Nice.
he knows I know almost everybody and anybody. It's like, I don't know why, but I
Everybody
do.
and anybody.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man. So hopefully we get you back on the show later too, man. It'd be
Oh.
nice to see.
Well, I
you get any
know.
surprises.
Yeah, I know. Robin wants to get me back on the show for another surprise, but
Yeah.
he wants to hold off on that one for a little while.
We'll see about that.
It's gonna be Superman versus Batman.
Yeah, that's the surprise. Was already with.
But it'll be better than the movie that came out.
Oh,
Unless I bring up the word Martha.
yeah, then you just yell at Martha.
Martha,
Why did you say that? Then they pull.
All right, we're gonna get way off track.
Okay.
All right, well,
So on that note,
so you're gonna stick around with us while we talk about some news stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet. Well, thank you again for coming by. Check out those games at Heavy Studios.
Yeah, heavystudios.com, or you can go to our website or come out to conventions. I mean, we have free play for everybody. Just come out and have fun. Don't forget to support your local indies. I mean, everything is out of our pockets. We don't have investors or anything like that. It's like a labor of love.
That's awesome. Well, we got a lot of news to get to.
we do.
So,
'cause
I
we've been
think
gone for 2 weeks.
We have been. Well, yeah. I mean, it's 3 weeks since we recorded because we missed 2 weeks. So it's been.
Oh yeah.
There's been a big gap in here, but Star Wars is kind of the big thing that happened during that gap. Obviously, Episode 9 came out, so Rise of Skywalker, and The Mandalorian finished as well. So we're going to talk about both those things. We're not really going to talk about spoiler stuff with Episode 9, but I definitely want to talk about the box office because that is, kind of the major story is that, when Episode 7 came out, Force Awakens, it had, set the record at the time for opening weekend, crossed $2 billion. The Last Jedi came out, still was really strong. It was over, I think, 200 million opening weekend, and then ended at about 1.3 billion. And Episode 9 has definitely taken a step back. Still making money. Don't get me wrong. Don't cry river for Disney, right? It was like 170 something million opening weekend. It's about to pass $1 billion, but it's definitely lagging behind. So diminishing returns on the series, and I think a lot of fan reaction. I think it's been mostly positive, but it seems like the hardcore Star Wars fans, and I would count myself among them, are a lot more divisive on this movie than maybe the casual fans. So
I think it's either you really like The Last Jedi and what Rian Johnson was trying to do, or you like Rise of Skywalker for not really playing it more safe.
I would say that I don't fit into that bucket because I thought Last Jedi was okay. There were parts of it that I really liked. There were parts of it I didn't care for, and I was super disappointed by Rise of Skywalker. Actually,
Ooh.
I was very cold walking out of it. I just wasn't connected to it anymore, and that was really disappointing.
See, I was too. One of the things is they left so much open, or so many unanswered questions.
That is definitely true. Like they just were like, "This is what's happening, and we're not going to explain it." And I was like, "But I kind of want to know."
And this is what happened when you don't have a plan. Disney did not have a plan. They
But,
couldn't get JJ to agree to all three, though.
Right. Well, and he wasn't even originally supposed to direct the Episode 9. I mean, that was originally it was supposed to be Colin Trevorrow who did Jurassic World, and then they had creative differences. He dropped out. There were reports that they tried to get Rian Johnson back, and he didn't want to do another one. And they eventually, I begged J.J. Abrams to come back, and he came back, and he's always been the guy that's like, here's a mystery box, and I set it up for you, and everyone has always been like, but he never pays off his mysteries.
Oh, like M. Night Shyamalan?
Well, I mean, at least M. Night Shyamalan had like Sixth Sense, and
Well, M. Night, he'll throw an alien there, and he's like, "Oh, that's the mystery."
sure.
It's like
The mystery's third alien this month.
But JJ definitely has a reputation for really interesting premises that don't necessarily get paid off well. And like for me, it felt like he definitely wanted whatever answers he had in mind when he was setting up all those mysteries in Episode 7. He said, "Well, no matter whether they make sense or not, those are the answers I'm going to give people in Episode 9." And some of them were okay, but it felt like there was a lot in this movie that was it was haphazard, It kind of came out of nowhere. And then even there are certain moments where it's like they did something that was maybe meant to be surprising or shocking, and then 5 minutes later they undid it. And it was like that, okay, like why did you even do that then? What was the point? So I don't know. I was very disappointed. I know a lot of people that are Star Wars fans that liked it. So, if you loved it, I'm happy for you. I always hope people enjoy movies. It wasn't my thing.
See, one thing with JJ is I know they're doing a 192-minute JJ Abrams version that they're releasing.
No, they're not. The heck?
It actually got
The
posted.
Schneider cut, guys.
Yeah, it actually got posted.
No, they're not.
But if they do, that would explain a lot of questions.
Disney has never released an alternate or extended version of like any of the MCU movies or anything. Like Star Wars is not going to do that. There's never been an
we
extended
might get a
version of Star Wars.
documentary though.
Yeah.
That I could see.
I would like.
That I could see.
Just like what, just all the stuff that was cut from the movie,
Sure.
which I understand from reports that there was a lot cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
mean, that's an editing.
there were definitely some things that his hands were tied on, stuff with like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Because she'd already passed away, they only had a certain amount of footage that they could use for her. And
Yeah, I think that's why they brought back a certain character.
correct. I believe that character, that moment was always meant for Carrie Fisher, it feels like.
Yeah.
And obviously they had to give it to someone else. So quick spoiler alert, because we might as well talk about it since we're
Spoiler
dancing
alert,
around it. So
spoiler
spoiler alert if
Well,
you haven't
it's
seen the
been
movie.
a
See,
year.
I wasn't gonna be the one to do it.
No, we'll as long as we throw out the spoilers. Harrison Ford returns to the role of Han Solo, which I don't think I really did not expect to see. That was the one thing that really caught me off guard in the theater, and I wanted to care, and I didn't. Like that.
Yeah.
That was the moment where I knew that I didn't care about this movie, is because Han Solo came back, and it's supposed to be this really emotional moment. It's right after Carrie Fisher, right after Leia dies in the movie, and Han Solo shows back up basically to turn his son to the good side. It's like the pivotal moment of the movie, and I was just like, I can't believe Harrison Ford came back. Wow, that's really interesting. Like, that's all I was thinking about during that moment. So.
Did you catch the callback though?
Oh yeah, of course. I love you. I know. It became
Oh,
See,
I still haven't seen the movie.
See, me, I'm one of those people. I'm such a huge Star Wars fan. I've read all
Me
the
too.
novels.
I've read a lot of them. A lot of the new stuff.
Yeah, I've read all the novels, played all the games. Like,
Sure.
I actually have 3 lightsabers.
Have you seen the Clone Wars movie?
I have.
It's the worst.
I would
I've
have to
also
say,
seen it.
I would rather watch Episode 9 than a Clone Wars movie again.
Yes.
Wait. So
There are
which-
3 Star Wars
which-
movies I would rather.
I'd rather see
Watch
Episode
Rise-
1 again than the
No.
Clone War movies.
Well, yes, Episode 1 and Episode 2, and the Clone War movie. Those are the 3 that are at the bottom.
Which one are we talking about with the Clone Wars movie? The one that launched the series, the pilot for the series?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
With Jabba's kid?
yes.
Oh god, I watched that in theaters. I was
It's-
so mad.
It's the worst.
Or the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yeah.
See, I've actually,
Boba Fett's introduction.
that's how much of a Star Wars fan I am. So
I gotcha. I've
Not-
seen it too.
not
We're
too many-
nerds.
not too many people have actually seen that, where it's like,
The
oh my
weird,
god,
the weird scene with Chewbacca's like dad,
Yeah.
basically watching like porn.
Yeah,
it's
like,
really
oh
weird.
my god. So you have 2 Star Wars nerds here. So if we tell you Star Wars Episode 9 was,
Hey, but you know what? That's the thing is I'm a nerd, and so there were things in the movie that I didn't like because I'm the Star Wars nerd. But
Yeah.
a lot of casual Star Wars fans, even the ones that I've talked to, really like this movie, and I'm glad for them. I want them to like
yeah,
it.
I mean, if you're a true fan of the Star Wars series, you're gonna have mixed feelings about it.
Maybe.
But if you go in there like with the basis of, I don't know Star Wars, I don't know anything about it, I've only seen 7, 8, 9, you'll love it. It is a good story. It's
Yeah.
wonderfully written.
People that grew up on the prequels love the prequels, and people that didn't grow up on the prequels are like, the prequels suck. And so it's the same thing that's happening now. There's people that are growing up on these and they love them, and even people that love the other movies, if they're enjoying these ones, that's great for them. I hope people like the movies. I liked Force Awakens. Last Jedi I was mixed on, and I didn't like this one, and this one made me like Force Awakens less because I was like, I don't like the mysteries you set up anymore, JJ. I don't want them.
See, even though I knew what was going to happen in Rogue One, I love that one.
Rogue One was great.
That actually touched me in the feels. And
That's my favorite of the Disney released Star Wars movies so
Yeah.
far. Because that Solo movie was just completely unnecessary.
Hood.
Why did it
So-
exist?
Yeah.
Well, no,
I didn't care
they
for
they
Solo
could have
either.
did better if it was better written. I mean, having Childish Gambino as Lando Calrissian, good choice. He
Yeah.
actually played a good
Yeah.
Lando Calrissian.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough episode 9 talk.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Aaron had nothing to say on that because he hasn't
I
seen it.
haven't
I think
watched
you
it.
did finally watch episode 8 though. You told me.
Yeah, I finally watched episode 8.
Yeah.
Like the week before episode 9 came out.
In preparation for not going to see episode 9.
I'll wait till it comes on DVD and
Good
then
job,
see it
Aaron.
later.
We'll have to kidnap Aaron one day and make him watch it.
It's just
Yeah.
Robert knows why I don't watch it, but I love Mandalorian.
Yeah. So
did love
that's
it.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
let's talk about a better
finished
Star
up.
Wars thing.
You know,
yeah,
I was mixed on Mandalorian for a lot of the season. There was a lot of filler episodes, at least for me, in the show. But it definitely finished strong, in my opinion.
see with
It
the
did, I
Mandalorian,
Let's let Aaron talk. He didn't get to talk at all.
Aaron.
in the
Sorry,
last
guys.
session.
I was all sad crying over here the whole time.
What?
Just talking in the chat and be like, "Hi guys, how's everyone going?" So I have to look at the camera.
Tell us what your thoughts are on the Mandalorian, Aaron.
I liked it. I mean, like I told you before, though, and I think on camera and off, like, I'm not a fan of the Star Wars movies anymore. 9 episodes about Skywalkers, and I'm done with it. That's kind of why I haven't watched any of the newer stuff. But I enjoyed the storyline until the sad thing is until the last episode.
What?
So I'm a cinematic person. That's where my degree is. I'm media.
Okay.
I have an issue with the last scene with the door, and I was telling Robert this part off camera. So the door blows up. Spoilers, by the way. Doors blow up because that black stormtrooper comes in, right?
Yeah.
Blows up the door, and then they're like, "Get the door." There's a door that shuts. It's
There's
like, that's an editing
always a
mistake.
blast door in Star Wars.
Which-
There's always a second door.
Yeah.
Which I would agree to that, except when Mando gets hurt and she's laying there and she's like, "Oh, they're gonna get in," and looks at the door's open again. It's wide open, and the flame trooper just walks in. And it's like, well, wait a minute, that's a huge editing mistake for me, and that
Yeah.
bothered me.
I actually
And
noticed that while watching it too,
Yeah, I did.
which I don't
It-
normally notice those types of things. It was very glaring.
It was really like just I hate editing mistakes like that. Like that's why I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but the first one I hate watching because there's 200 and something editing mistakes in that movie.
Yeah.
So I hate watching it, but I love it at the same time.
But Star
But-
Wars is built on mistakes. Like the Stormtrooper is bonking his head.
Yeah.
The
that is
bong.
true.
I mean, there's
But-
so many mistakes in all the Star Wars movies or anything.
I think the other thing though that bothered me about the last episode, I think Robert pointed this out or someone else, the stormtroopers can't even shoot a freaking can sitting there on the ground.
But
Well,
And
and this is we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
I definitely that's been part of Star Wars fans' conversation
Yeah.
for 40 years.
yeah,
Is that stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a barn.
and that proved it.
Well,
that
and
was-
so there were two examples in The Mandalorian that called it out because there's the one episode where Ben Burr, who is like a former Imperial sharpshooter, and he's like, I wasn't a stormtrooper, so they're making jokes about stormtrooper. That I thought was a really bad example of calling it out because really, stormtroopers are supposed to be they're supposed to be menacing. They're supposed to even in the first movie when they were talking about the when the Jawa's transport gets hit,
yeah.
and Obi-Wan Kenobi is like, oh, it wasn't sand people. You're meant to think it was, but only Imperials have this kind of precision.
Yeah.
And so, in universe, we are supposed to think that the stormtroopers are menacing, that they are, able. Obviously, they can't hit any main characters because they all have plot powers. We
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah,
But I thought, calling it out like that in that episode
it's
was a
too much.
bad example. But I actually thought that example in the final episode where it's just two stormtroopers, they didn't make any commentary about it. They were just trying to hit something and clearly they weren't able to. And the one guy even looked at his gun like it was the gun's fault. I thought that was actually a clever example of how you can make that commentary.
See,
But
that's
I
what-
like
maybe
what-
maybe it is the Imperials arm them with bat guns because they're cheap.
maybe. I mean, that's the
Might
one
be
time I
true.
was okay with it. Whereas okay, that at least calls a little bit out to it, but it almost breaks that fourth wall to me. It's getting really close to breaking that fourth wall.
Well, it was them.
So
It was them more or less playing to the fans.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everyone knows. That's the biggest joke. Stormtroopers. You can stand there in front of them. They won't hit you.
yeah,
You know,
unless you wear a red shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
Unless
it's
it's
the
red-
meme it's the meme
And
of
it
the
was-
stormtrooper shooting the Star Trek red shirt and it's
Yeah.
like I missed and the red shirt's going I died anyway.
Yeah. But still, you know,
What do you do?
that's the joke about it.
Sure.
And that leads up to the next scene, which I'm not going to spoil for you guys. Watch The Mandalorian. You will be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. But, you know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I didn't like, and I think I told Robert this off camera too, a platoon of soldiers is standing out here.
Yeah.
There was 8. That's not a platoon.
Well, maybe.
It was just like, I want
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a platoon was
platoon,
only
yeah.
8 stormtroopers.
How do you know what their measurement system is?
That's not a platoon.
You don't know what is a parsec? How much is a credit word?
A parsec is not even a measure.
Don't worry about it. It was in the Star Wars universe,
Yes.
okay?
So
Blame George Lucas in their version of English.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, the one thing that actually did bother me about that, and so the small spoilers, is when, you know, the droid whose primary objective is keeping Baby Yoda safe takes him like into a firefight. I was like, why isn't he
Hey,
just
he
getting
was
on
the
ship?
best babysitter ever.
He was
Yeah,
awesome,
what?
and that scene was great. And seeing him on the speeder bike, like just mowing down stormtroopers, was awesome. But then he just like takes him into the bunker where everyone is pinned down, and you're like, now you're in trouble. Like that didn't make any sense. Why did you?
Well,
do
he had to go save them, and
Right.
he couldn't just leave Baby Yoda by himself.
that? Well, but
But
he could have just taken Baby Yoda on the Mandalorian ship and left.
Yeah.
Like he didn't actually have to go save them. That wasn't his primary mandate.
Yeah, his
And
primary
so-
mandate was the baby.
It was
Nobody else.
It was
Oh.
weird, but we need to save everyone.
By the way, from I think it was episode 3, when he's leaving the planet and like the Mandalorians help save him get out.
Yeah.
And he sees a jetpack and he's like, I
Gotta get me one of these.
There was a callback.
It's Chekhov's gun, right? You show the gun early, he's got to use it. Yeah, they did that. It's like and I actually, you know, I think they made a lot of allusions to the mask coming off. Does the helmet ever come off? It did come off in the final episode, but in a very interesting way. That
I
thought
liked
was
it
good.
though. It was
Yeah.
a good fit
Well,
to how it was.
I
should
know a
have
lot
been
of
done.
people were upset because, you know,
They didn't follow the way.
No, because remember the reason it came off was it wasn't for a human.
Right.
But still, it took that air mystery out. You know, they could have
Yeah.
cut away. You know, when he took off his helmet, so we didn't see his face.
But see, he
We
killed
all
the
know
droid.
who the actor is, so we all know what he looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Now that actually does with him taking off the helmet. Would that make Jango Fett not a Mandalorian anymore? Because he took off the
I have
helmet.
seen theories about that.
So actually,
I know it's off topic, but
in a lot of the lore and a lot of the other TV shows, like Mandalorians have played a huge role in a lot of canon stuff. TV shows like the Clone Wars, Rebels, in other movies there have been Mandalorian characters, and it's never been until this show that there was a rule against taking helmets off, because Mandalorians take their helmets off all the time in that other stuff.
In the Star
And
Wars.
so we know that there's a period in between the end of Star Wars Rebels, which is like the beginning of the rebellion that we see in A New Hope. So, kind of right in that time frame, there's a, 10 to 15 year gap between that and this show. And within that time, we know that there was a major event where the Mandalorian people were basically, they call it something in the show, and I can't remember what they keep calling it, but it's basically the Empire destroyed
Wiped them out,
Mandalore,
Yeah.
and whatever happened within that, they obviously, that's part of their new way forward is we don't take our helmets off, whether it's a way to protect themselves, whatever it is. That's a new thing in the Star Wars universe. It has not been in any of the other canon. So,
Well, actually, it's in the Mandalorian guidebook because I have the Sith book, the Jedi book, and the Mandalorian book.
Yeah.
Again, Star Wars nerd. And it's actually predated to where they cannot take off their helmets.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'll have to give you a copy of that book.
yeah,
so you can read
because
it.
I mean, I know I've watched all the Rebels and Clone Wars stuff, and those Mandalorians are taking their helmets off.
They're like, we don't give
Yeah, they're not supposed to. It's dated back
So
hundreds of
Jango
years.
could have gone rogue.
Yeah.
Well, and you gotta also remember, I mean, they even call it out in the show, where he says Mandalorian is not a race, it's a creed.
Agreed.
So there is a planet called Mandalore. There are people that are native Mandalorians, but obviously part of their creed is if we take you in, you become Mandalorian. There's no longer a distinction. You are now just Mandalorian. We don't worry about where you may have come from. So, at this point,
It's like a black card.
Baby Yoda is a Mandalorian.
remember,
because he's been taken in.
Remember it. Oh God, I want to just say something
No,
more
let's-
than people.
We
Watch
need to
the
start
show.
moving
Watch the
on
show.
too, because
Watch
people are
the
like,
show.
don't spoil it.
No, we're not gonna spoil
We're
it.
not
I
gonna
think
spoil it for
the
you guys.
director actually hates it being called Baby Yoda.
Well,
But
but you
yeah,
should have
John
introduced
Favreau
the Baby Yoda.
either.
But again, the internet has spoken. Until it gets a name, it's Baby Yoda.
It will
Exactly.
be Baby Yoda after it gets a name too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be. It's never
It
changing.
is-
done
it is
too hard.
already established.
That's like Aaron. He still has a name.
Oh God, it's never changing.
Oh, one last thing,
Thanks, Keen Peele.
and this is not Trey spoiling. All I gotta say about the very, very end, why don't people ever confirm their kills? Why?
Double tap.
Double tap.
That was like
That is
in,
true.
what was that, episode 2 where he didn't double tap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, very obvious. Knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
something on the table,
So-
which I'm interested in, but we obviously can't go into that. That's way too spoiler.
And
Yeah.
we do know that season 2 is coming at the end of this
Yes.
year.
It's confirmed.
So that's coming up in I don't
But
know
that's
maybe
so far
8 or 9
away.
months away.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've got some other stuff in between, Kyle.
Yes,
I mean, like, look what's coming up in 3 months. We got New Mutants.
New Mutants.
Nice little segue.
Trailer
Yeah,
came
yeah,
out
yeah.
this week. Did you guys get a chance to see it?
I have not. I've actually been getting ready for PAX, and
Shh, whatever.
Throwing his little.
hey, when you have your own studio, you have to. I'm sorry,
I hear
guys.
you. No, you're cool.
So,
But
Plug
no,
in,
new
plug in.
mutants. What's wrong with the old mutants?
Please
I
There's
spoil
actually
a
don't
lot
know
wrong with
anything
the old
about
mutants.
Please
the new
spoil
mutants.
it
There's-
for me. I'm gonna go
yeah.
home and watch it, but spoil it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
enjoyed the trailer. Actually.
Yeah, I don't think we need to. There's not anything spoiler in the trailer, but it's
No.
definitely it's very heavy horror vibes
Okay.
with the movie. And actually, I saw an interview with the director, and I don't remember his name. Where
Is
he
it
was,
going to be a movie or a TV show?
it is going to be a movie
Okay.
because it was
Yeah.
originally supposed to come out in like 2018. Then it got pushed back to 2019.
Oh,
Then it got
got
pushed
pushed
back again.
wait a
and
minute.
so-
I think I remember seeing that original trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Because
they,
it was still a
they
Fox
recut
property,
a new
right?
trailer.
Yeah.
It's still coming out from Fox, but now because it's Disney owned, Disney is the one that's putting the movie out. It's Disney's decision whether or not to release the movie, and that's I saw the interview with the director where he talked about that Fox was not on board with his final product. Fox didn't like, even though he had done the movie that he said he was going to do. Fox was like, oh, we actually don't want to put that movie out.
Oh,
And
wow.
now Disney, according to the director, has said, actually, we kind of like what you did, and so we're going to put that out. So the director is totally on board. He's been promoting it and everything. It's coming out April 3rd, I think.
So the movie was in
yeah,
limbo
April
until
2020
that
for sure.
purchase.
Yeah, pretty much. And
yeah,
I
April 3rd,
I had
2020.
I had given up a lot of hope that I would see this movie because actually I liked that original trailer too. It's got some really interesting actors and actresses in it. Anya Taylor-Joy, who's been in several horror properties before. Maisie Williams, who's Arya Stark in Game of Thrones. And it looked really interesting, so I was really looking forward to it.
It definitely didn't look like a comic book movie.
No.
I did not even know that it was going to be anything comic book related
Yeah.
until the title. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
So yeah, we're gonna see, and it feels like we're not gonna get a sequel to it no matter what.
No,
Like,
I don't think we will.
But I mean, if it's
it's
majorly
not quite
financially and
MCU.
critically, I mean I'm sure they'll be able to weave it in if they want to.
I mean, Disney,
So-
if it's money based and it makes a large profit, they're gonna make a sequel.
Sure.
Yeah, it just has to make the money first. And I know when I think we posted it earlier this week on our Facebook page at official GYGO, a couple of people were not happy with the horror aspect of the movie. I
Yeah.
noticed, but why not try something different? Doctor Strange tried something different. Guardians of the Galaxy a few years ago even tried the whole almost making fun of itself, and
Sure.
it sold. I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds of millions. So obviously, going a different route
Yeah,
isn't a
I
bad
mean,
thing.
Deadpool was very different. You know.
I think horror is kind of a niche genre, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of people, I'm sure you know them too, that just completely do not do horror
Sure.
whatsoever.
See, I'm a horror fan. I know the original trailer that I saw didn't look as horrifying to
Yeah,
me.
this one
No.
looks more.
This
So-
was very
Okay,
horrible.
so now I'm gonna go home and watch it, or if you guys don't mind, we step off.
He's like, "Alright, guys."
And you
Yeah,
just
I'll
hear me
scoot over.
squealing- you can hear me squealing in the background going, oh my god!
Well, and it's
And-
funny that you mentioned that, Kyle. Like, horror, there are definitely people that don't, but, like, horror has a huge, like, there's a lot of people that love horror
Saw.
movies. I mean, yeah, Saw,
Probably
or
that
like
mean-
The first
when,
Saw.
you know, when Get
Oh, yeah.
Out came out, or Us, like these are huge openings. These are major.
There is, but
So-
there's very few horror movies I feel even like hit that blockbuster status though.
I agree, and like
There's
it
definitely
that
a
came
lot
out
of
was one of
hope,
them.
I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's definitely it's fighting an uphill battle. It's definitely not as easy to sell as, you know, something else like, you know, Black Widow that's
Yeah.
coming out a month later.
Action, comedy,
sure.
romance.
Well, see, most
But-
people with horror
yeah.
nowadays,
We'll
they go for like the blood, gore, and just profanity. I love Rob Zombie's work or his music,
Oh yeah.
but his movies
Yeah.
that are supposed to be
No.
horror is just here's blood and more blood and more
Sure.
blood, and it's horror. It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Schlock. That was the word I'm looking for.
And
earlier.
this definitely, part of what intrigued me is it looks very psychological, which that's my kind of horror. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not big into the gore horror,
Yeah.
but like psychological horror I really like. So this looked really intriguing. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. We'll probably see one more trailer before the movie comes out, probably about a month out. So in a couple months we'll probably see another trailer, and then we'll actually finally get to see it.
So
And
these
uh,
days just intrigued me to watch it, so you guys better watch the trailer too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's
Try to check
interesting
it
that
out.
you brought it up, and I was like, oh wait, that thing I
Oh,
saw forever
yeah,
ago.
it was a long time ago.
It was. And looking at the roster right now, in case anyone's curious, Wolfsbane's going to be in it. Magic,
Yeah,
Cannonball.
Anya Taylor-Joy is playing Magic.
Wait, Cannonball?
Cannonball's going to be in it.
Isn't he the Canadian guy that gets like the little tiny dude?
Cannonball's powers.
Isn't that Puck?
Sam Gunn.
I can't remember his powers.
Maybe
I'm not a
it's
huge
Puck.
X-Men
Yeah, that
fan.
was Puck.
I don't
He's
remember.
immortal.
Which is the most Canadian name of all time. It's
they
like,
got-
what sport do they play in Canada? Hockey.
Oh, God.
Puck. That's your name.
Right? So we also
Yeah.
have
Well, no,
Mirage.
Canada, man.
Mirage and Sunspot are going to be in it.
Okay, so
And the
think I know
main
Sunspot.
antagonist is going to be Demon Bear.
okay.
So that's interesting. I kind of like, though, that they're not going with any,
Huggy me.
like, main 70s or 60s character, like Cyclops, Beast, no one
Yeah.
main. I like that we're going with the actual New Mutants.
Yeah,
in
I
this
think
one.
Sunspot is really the only. I think that might be the only one that's been in another.
Yeah, he's been in other ones.
Because
Yeah,
he was in
actually
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, he's been.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Excalibur,
surprising they're not
X-Men,
just
X-Force.
tossing a bigger name in there, like how they put Joker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like
Well-
just to get like the attention of somebody, like, oh look, here's Beast training them or something.
And
there's
we don't
nothing-
know. I mean, there could be a cameo from someone that maybe is more well established.
Which is fine and all, but
We'll
I'm
find
glad
out.
that's not.
Hopefully Hugh
focused,
Jackson.
So.
It looks interesting.
Actually, on that subject, I'm wondering like if they're gonna do that route again, put in a big name for Suicide Squad. Obviously, Harley Quinn's gonna be a part of it, and she has definitely gotten very popular in the last several years.
Well, I mean, especially with her movie coming out, I know we're
Yeah.
talking about that.
Her movie, she got a TV series, she's got more than a handful of comic books.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
No, the TV
That's
series is
okay.
actually
I
really
understand.
funny. But
I've
that-
seen it.
that-
I'm sorry,
I
I'm
still don't
doing
care.
like 100
It's
things.
hilarious. I mean, if you're an adult, don't let your kids watch it, even though it's animated.
That's actually the reason why I want to watch it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Teen Titans.
I don't,
bad.
No. Teen Titans was wonderful. Teen Titans Go,
Oh.
horrible.
We don't talk
I'm
about
talking about the live action.
Oh, well,
Even
no.
worse.
Actually, I like it. You have
That
to,
trailer so put me
no.
off.
Once you watch it, you'll get hooked because when you see Robin, and I'm sure people don't care about Titans. When you see Robin actually killing people, you're like, wow, that went dark quick.
Yeah, that's not what I
It
want.
just
for
feels
my,
so
that's not what I want from
edgelord.
Titans.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
I don't know.
Well,
So-
you see him coming back from the dark side, so.
All right. Well, we've talked about Harley Quinn and,
Right.
and
You gotta
Titans and stuff like
Or
that. So we gotta get back to the news items.
Okay.
Okay, what's next on the
So
docket?
next we're gonna talk about WandaVision got pushed up a little bit. It was the show that's premiering on Disney Plus was originally slated, or they had told us it was coming out in 2021, spring of 2021. They've now announced that it's gonna be coming out in 2020. So probably the end of the year. We don't know exactly what the official release date is, but probably like November, December timeframe. But I think they're kind of moving everything up, it seems like, because they already announced that this movie was going to tie in with Doctor Strange's sequel, which is May of next year.
Yeah.
But then they also announced that Loki was going to tie in as well. So I think they're going to move both of those shows up so that they both hit before that movie hits. So we're going to get WandaVision late this year.
Is it late or is it early? Because I thought I saw something said they were trying to shoot for early.
No, I mean, they're still filming it right now. So
Yeah, that's what threw me off because I was like,
No.
how could you do an early one?
No, I don't think they're going to do anything early. I don't think we're going to get any Marvel shows at least until mid-year.
Yeah.
We've got shooting right now is I know Soldier is shooting. WandaVision is shooting. They've gone into production on Loki, and I know that they have some episodes of What If, which is the animated show. Those are in the can, ready to go. I think that's going to be the first show that we get, even though they didn't say
What
that.
If?
I think What If is going to be the first one. I think we're going to get that like in summertime. I think we're going to get Falcon and Winter Soldier in like the fall time frame. I'm guessing probably like August, September, and then probably like November, December for
Well,
WandaVision.
from a Disney aspect, that's actually a smart move.
Oh yeah.
Because me being a business owner, because intellectual properties that they own now, like The Mandalorian, it's done, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, if that show hit, and people are like, because actually people are canceling their subscription until The Mandalorian comes back on because they're like, there's nothing to watch.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's give them something to watch.
We've got Black Widow coming out in theaters in early May. So I'm thinking we'll get What If sometime after that, maybe June, July.
Yeah.
Then probably we'll get Falcon Winter Soldier after that, August, September time frame. Then you've got Eternals coming out in November. So probably WandaVision coming out after Eternals. That's what I'm guessing. That's
That's a good assumption.
totally speculation. I have no insider information. That's just what I'm.
Well, you should
Now,
get
what
it.
do you think about that?
I should get that.
About what they have coming up?
Yeah.
You excited about WandaVision?
Yeah, I think they definitely need to fill up time here. Like,
We got a 10-month gap between
like-
Spider-Man: Far From Home and Black Widow. It's
Yeah,
so
it's like, oh
long.
my god, I need
On
something.
on a side note, I happen as a Verizon subscriber, they gave everybody a
year
free
free.
year.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have it whether I'm paying for it or not.
Up until like December of next year.
Sorry,
Which is
guys.
right when the Millennium one comes out, I'm like, oh, now I gotta pay.
Now I gotta
Really,
pay.
Disney? It's like you knew.
It is like they knew.
And if you see me blow my nose, Mountain Cedar here in San Antonio is like killer. So
It's lovely.
I
You hear me crap bitching and I just spilled soda or beer on my laptop.
oh my
God.
god,
That's why I'm like, freak it out.
Hey, I don't know allergies cause clumsiness.
Apparently they do. I was like, crap. Anyway,
Oh,
so moving on.
So sticking with the MCU, there is a report out that Christian Bale is in talks to join Thor: Love and Thunder.
What? You
so-
switching?
It is not nothing official yet. He's not signed on the dotted line, but just that the report is that he's in talks. So total speculation talk. Who's he playing in Thor: Love and Thunder? Who do you guys think?
Is he gonna have a lung cancer voice?
Oh. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Where is she? Martha.
Wait
Wait a minute.
Oh, why did you say that?
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out who would he play? Like, oh God.
I don't know who's left that would be big enough for Christian Bale to say, I want to sign on this.
I
type
know
of
it's gonna be Jane Foster Thor.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking we're probably looking at kind of like they brought in Kate Blanchett as a big villain for one movie. Like that's what I'm guessing is he's probably a villain for just this movie.
Yeah.
Most of
my guess.
Thor's rogue galleries are all like Norse gods.
Right.
Now, have they announced any plans for a sequel, or are they going to wait to see how
I think they're gonna
people
wait.
take it?
Yeah, they haven't said that they're going to do any more. I think I saw a report that people were speculating that he might be playing. I think Cull is the name. It's not a character I was familiar with.
No.
Call the Conqueror?
I
Wait,
don't know.
no, I'm
I
thinking
mean, I would
I'm
actually
thinking
like.
of Conan stuff.
Yo, wait, wrong one.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you think you know, drop it in the comments.
I would
I-
actually
I
like
think
to
he's
see
gonna
him
play
play.
Celestial. I don't think it's gonna be.
I would like to see him play
Beta Ray Bill.
Bojack, Beta Ray Bill.
That would be interesting.
You
But I
know,
don't think
because
he's on the dotted line for that.
because since the hammer is being passed down,
Yeah.
Beta Ray Bill might get upset about that.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that I don't think he's going to be around for multiple movies. I think Christian Bale is kind of one and done. He did the franchise superhero thing with Batman, and I think he even at the time said he was never coming back to superhero movies. But maybe Marvel pitched him something really interesting, and he went, yeah, okay, I'll do that one movie.
He's like, how many zeros?
Yeah,
Exactly.
If you
I don't
I
want to do
said
it
they-
6 zeros later.
I
Okay.
said they
Again,
pitched him
if
something
you have
interesting.
Disney money, it's like you can buy anybody.
Right price. Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten Keanu Reeves yet. Why not?
Well,
He's got morals.
Weren't there like rumors or stuff like that
There
Keanu
was
Reeves-
rumors he was going to be a Celestial.
And,
Yeah.
and Kevin Feige's even come out and said, like, we've approached Keanu several times about being in our movies, but we haven't gotten him to agree to one yet. So.
He's already
Well, I mean-
Constantine. He did it, man.
Well, right
He's
now.
waiting for the right one.
That was
Well,
cool.
right now
He
he's
is.
doing Bill and Ted, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, running down, we're almost done with our news, and we're almost done with our show. But there was just a very
Almost done
brief
cleaning the keyboard.
brief story a couple weeks ago that Ryan Reynolds confirmed in an interview that they're working on Deadpool 3 at Disney.
Yes.
So they're not shooting or anything, but they're working on the script. They're working on it. So that's cool because I think there was a lot of speculation. You know, the first two Deadpool movies came out under Fox's banner. And so I think people were a little bit worried we might not get a Deadpool 3, but it sounds like everybody's playing nice so far.
Deadpool
And
3, never
there's
coming to Disney+.
There's a
Plus.
lot of money. There's a lot of money in those Deadpool movies. So I think Disney is like, yeah, we're gonna make more money.
Well,
we're on board with that.
Has anybody seen the PG-13 version, by the way?
Oh,
it was
the Christmas event. I did not see it.
I didn't see it.
it was okay.
But
They
it brought
had a
him more
Princess
money.
Bride vibe.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they were going for that.
Well, and I think the premise was even like Fred Savage, who's the kid in The Princess Bride,
Yeah.
Yeah.
was like kidnapped by Deadpool, and then he's telling him the story while he's on the bed. So it's
Yeah.
definitely they were playing off The Princess Bride.
But the thing about Deadpool is, I know with Deadpool 2, that's when Disney bought Fox, and everybody was worried they were going to make it PG-13, and Disney said, "Let us stay rated R." That's why they're coming up with the New Mutants being horror, and they're like, "Hey, we can push a rated R rating. You know, it sells."
Yeah.
Deadpool, the first one, phenomenal. Deadpool 2, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't think it was as good, but there was still some cool stuff. I thought Juggernaut.
Deadpool 2 was great.
I thought Juggernaut was still really cool. I thought
Yeah,
there was a lot.
That
of
was
really,
definitely the best reveal in the movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of really funny jokes. I still loved Ryan Reynolds' performance and
Ryan
what
Reynolds,
he did.
nicest person in the world. I mean, you
Well,
can tell
he's
he's
Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Canadian. He's gonna come out and say, "Hey, let me make you some poutine while we watch hockey." It's like, okay.
So, one comment I want to make, because it came up in the chat from Sean. Marvel supposedly, and this is all rumors still, gained full control of Hulk and Namor.
I did see that rumor. It has not been
Wait.
confirmed by any reputable sources.
Who had no more rights?
So,
to that?
so Universal still has distribution rights on any Hulk or Namor movies.
Oh, they own
Yeah.
Namor too? I didn't know they owned Namor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Oh, okay.
it's from Universal. So that's why up till this point, like there's only been the one MCU Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk, that came out in 2008.
Yeah.
And since then, any movies he's been in, he hasn't been in the title because then Universal gets distribution rights and they get all that money.
That's why they did Thor Ragnarok.
Right,
Because it was actually supposed to be Planet Hulk,
Right.
but since they couldn't do it that way, they said Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so there's been speculation. I mean, we talked about it on our last show that Mark Ruffalo, the actor that plays Bruce Banner and the Hulk, wants to do a Hulk versus Wolverine movie. Now that they have Wolverine back, and it won't be Hugh Jackman because he's not coming back. I'm sorry to
Enough
disappoint.
zeros, come on.
Sorry to disappoint you all.
Enough
He's
zeros.
not coming back.
If they give him like 23 zeros, he'll be like, you know what, I'll do it.
Right?
I think he's got enough zeros. But yeah, they can't make that movie and call it that unless they got those rights. So I did see that rumor come across the board, but it has not been confirmed by any like major news stories or places. So it's very rumorific at this point. So that's why we weren't gonna originally talk about it, but I know we got it mentioned.
Yeah, it came up in the chat. I had heard about it too. I was the same way though. I hadn't heard any reputable sources talk about it, so I'm kind of like, yeah.
See,
not sure
all
how
this time I
that's
thought it
going
was
to work.
mostly because like the previous two Hulk movies didn't really like set the world on fire.
Sure.
Well, like the first Hulk movie with Edward Norton.
Yeah, that's the Incredible
That's
Hulk.
the second
Yeah,
one.
No,
well,
before
that's-
that,
no,
Ang
well,
Lee.
Before
the
that
other
was
one,
2003, Ang Lee's Hulk with.
but see, you had to
Eric
be
Bana.
you had to be a real Hulk fan to understand that.
You really
Excuse
did.
me, there are Hulk dogs in that movie. Nobody should understand it.
Okay, the Hulk dog.
He just caught you right there.
Yeah, but you know, to
Absorbing
understand,
that
you
meaning
Call
understand,
either of those movies faithful in
but
any
to
way.
understand the story, you know,
Yeah,
how
absorbing
his
that.
mother, how his mother was, you know,
Sure.
killed by his father, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Again, that movie's been out so long. Spoilers are coming. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers that even
It's
exist.
15 years ago. If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch it.
Don't.
Yeah, there's even a trouble.
It is
There's
trouble.
trouble.
We'll give you the premises now.
It's not
Garbage.
Okay, it's not canon. There you go. That's the premise.
It's also not
That is
good.
true.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
there's so
things that
much
aren't
hope for
canon,
that
but
one, too.
That's like episode 1 and 3 of Star Wars. It's fan fiction.
Oh,
I'll give you that.
terrible. So the next thing that came out that we want to talk about, I haven't seen it. I don't know if Robert, if you've seen it. I know Kyle over there saw it. The Witcher.
Ooh,
Toss a
that was a
coin
good
to
show.
your witcher.
so it looks like you saw. I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's on
I
my
haven't
list, but I
had
haven't
time
gotten to it
to
yet.
edit.
Okay, I've played all the games.
Okay.
Read all the books. It
Now
was
the books and games are different alone, right?
They
There's
are.
a big difference, I heard.
There are, but it actually plays. The story actually goes closely to the books. It
Okay.
follows the
So,
novels.
as a cursory fan, my friends are trying to bug me to play The Witcher 3 for like years now. But I'm like very intimidated because jumping into the third part of a very story-heavy series
Yeah,
just sounds like a really bad time.
it's not. You actually you're able to follow it and still fall in love with the characters. That's one of the reasons. Like I love video games. I love novels. I love stories. That's why I love Final Fantasy VII. You fall in love with the character. You fall in love with all the side characters. It's like Game of Thrones. When somebody dies, you're like, oh my god, no, and you actually shed a tear.
Sure. So we're up against it from time wise. So let's talk about the show real quick. You give me 2 minutes on the show. Is it faithful? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
So, a big warning, it hops all over the place with timelines.
Last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Okay.
like we start the first episode and then the last episode shows you what happened before that episode.
Okay.
And they don't give you dates or anything like
They don't
that.
get
They're
dates.
just like, no.
Figure it out on your own.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, they're this age, they're this. You're like,
It only really gets jarring at like, okay, maybe like 3 or 4 when they show like the past when
no, episode 9.
No.
Like right before the last episode, where they're like jumping back and forth like the
And
whole
there was
episode.
the bar. Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on here? Hold up. You actually have to watch that episode 3 times.
No, thank you.
Was the bard in the books?
It's like
No.
Pulp Fiction.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a bard character. He makes a lot of songs about Geralt. He's trying to improve his reputation.
As well as befriend Geralt.
Yeah. He's like that annoying sidekick that just kind of ends up causing more trouble than, helping. But he definitely helps drive the story along.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how you get to toss your coin to a Witcher song.
So you guys
So,
liked it though?
Here's
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved it. Now, Aaron, did you like it or?
I haven't watched it yet, honestly. It's because
Oh
I've
my
been
God.
doing a lot of editing and everything else. But here's my question. So I know the books are different than the games.
Yeah.
The series is different a little bit than both, I'm assuming.
The series kind of
So-
pulls from multiple books.
Okay.
Yeah.
And kind of giving you like the greatest hits almost.
It doesn't follow the games, but it follows the books.
See, here's the thing though. I heard there was issues with the creator of the books and the developer of the game. Is there an issue
So
with
actually,
the series?
on that, another podcast I listened to actually did a follow up. So he admits finally that he was an idiot because he signed away for cheap. Like, give me a
Yeah.
flat rate. I
You
don't
don't want,
want
like, a few grand,
royalty.
right?
I
It
don't want
wasn't
percentage. Just give me my money now.
Yeah.
And now years later, he's like, you know what? I admit it. I was dumb. I should have taken a better deal. And so they finally worked out because they're like, we want to, because your games have been so successful. Like, we want to reward you properly. He's like, all right, guy, yeah, sure, let's sign the money. Like, so the deal has been worked out with CD
Okay.
Projekt Red. So now he's getting an actual royalties.
And
I mean,
see-
the games, and one of the things, it helps out a lot of people in the gaming industry.
Mhm.
Since the Witcher TV show came out, a lot of people have been playing The Witcher 3 more.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And anybody who's worked on that project, they're getting paid royalties from The Witcher 3.
Oh, nice.
So, like,
I
let's
think
say if
something
you-
like 90,000 simultaneously on Steam were playing Witcher 3, which is
Yeah.
like an absurd number.
So if you got
That's
fired, or let go, I can't say fired. When Witcher 3 finally got released, you're getting large checks now.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
It's a few grand pop up, hopefully.
Well, there you
a
go.
few $100,000 because again, like you said, so many people have been popping up, and I actually like the series.
Cool.
I've been watched it. I only have one episode to watch because I had to come out here with you guys.
It's
You know?
my fault that you haven't finished the show. Is what you're
No.
telling me.
Actually, I'm here because of your beautiful eyes. No.
Oh.
So you haven't finished the series yourself yet?
No. One episode left. Episode
Oh,
9
okay.
again was like so jarring where I had to watch it like 3 times. I would have watched it, but I had to watch episode 9 again. Like, where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? What are we doing?
It's jumping all over the place.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you two, since you both have seen it, or well, most of it at least. Superman or Witcher? Who does he play better?
Oh, definitely Witcher.
Witcher.
Yeah,
Witcher.
not even a question.
So hang up the tights, huh?
Yeah.
Like Henry Cavill is like, I didn't know how I felt about him as an actor, and now I see like how he does Witcher, and I'm like, all right, yeah, he showed his chops to me.
Again, huge Superman
Rudy
fan.
Superman actually fits very well as the Witcher because he's just like,
Yeah. He's
Like
more
how he plays Superman,
because
anyways.
Superman is not brooding or
Yeah.
anything like that, but the Witcher he is, and he fits that persona where with the Bard he's like, I'm not gonna help you. I don't like you. You're not my friend. And then the Bard gets hurt, and he's like, crap, I gotta help you. And
Son of
he grumbles about it the whole time.
The
while he's
reluctant
helping him.
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of just like really silly comedy in the show. That's like something stupid happens, he's just like, fuck.
Yeah, he's like,
It's very down to earth. It's not as stuffy
Kyle, you
as
just,
other fantasy.
you just made this an explicit video. We went this whole time, and
we're
we
done.
just got the
All
explicit
of us
tag.
is
see,
out.
I
There we go.
I was in the Marine Corps. I'm used to cursing, and I know how to do these things. I curb it.
Season 2, we were like, all right, we're good. We're up, like right about to
We're
wrap up the
PG.
episode, and here comes Kyle. Just dropping the F-bomb.
We're gonna get monetized soon. Oh, no, we're not.
It's okay, you could just put a.
Well, not when it's live.
Oh yeah,
I
when it's
can't.
live, that makes it more difficult.
We need a 7-second delay.
It's all your fault, Kyle.
Oh man. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on our first episode of 2020, season 2, Talkin Geek. Robert, Angel, thanks again for coming by with Heavy Studios.
Thank you for having me out.
HEBI, what is it? HeavyStudios.com?
Yeah,
That's it?
heavystudios.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
The links will be up later on our Facebook page for that.
Yeah, and follow us at PAX.
Yeah.
On Sunday at PAX South, we will be making a huge announcement. You guys don't want to miss it.
Ooh, awesome. Kyle,
Go to PAX.
thanks for being here tonight.
Always fun. Always.
Aaron, you can sign yourself off.
I don't
like
get
you.
like a nice sign off.
Aaron.
Anything. So guys, again, like Robert said, thank you for joining us. I'm happy that we got to start season 2 up with the bang, actually. And as always, guys, remember, what makes you geek? We want to know. Like, comment, subscribe. You know, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, podcast sites of your choice. We should be up on all of them hopefully by now. But definitely check us out, guys. And thank you for joining us, everybody, in our chat. Sean, everyone else who was able to comment and be here tonight. We appreciate all of you. Thank you, and y'all have a great night.